Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Alright guys, on this taco time, we got Joel and Shorty here. They're going to try to show us little techniques they got. Hopefully we'll learn a lot. I know I'm going to learn a lot. But right now, let's dig into these tacos, man. Get us some good tacos and kind of get a feeling.
So we're going to start the interview by eating tacos?
Yes, sir.
Man, that's the best interview ever.
Yeah, I like this interview, man.
Yeah, I like it already.
Let's get it. This is from y'all's Azteca, man, that y'all like so much. So
Oh, dang.
we got it hooked up, brother.
Look at that, man.
That's a spread.
Oh, Heath knows what we like.
Yeah.
Man.
And we got more underneath.
He don't play around, son.
Well, Joel eats a lot, so
That's
we'll
Joel.
put that over there.
I'm a growing man. So definitely taco time, man. So I mean,
Yeah, tell us about taco
We've
time.
been following up on it a little bit, you know what I mean? But like, as far as the process, I mean, what's the game, you know what I mean?
The game is, I basically bribe you guys with tacos. I bring tacos, and y'all give me a secret, man.
Damn, you do a good job, I'm sure.
That it?
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, man. Well, are you coming back tomorrow?
You keep giving me secrets, man. I'll move in, Shorty.
Hell yeah.
So how'd you get started in this, Shorty? As he's eating his taco?
How did I get started eating tacos?
Yeah.
My mom cooked it when I was a kid.
Cool, we got that history taken care of.
So, are you talking about like in the business?
Yeah, when did you get started working on cars for a living?
For a living, so I paid my first car for money when I was 14 years old.
Damn.
It was for my dad's friend. My dad, you know, he worked construction
Mhm.
all his life, and he had a friend that bought a truck and wanted to paint it so he could take it back to Mexico. You know,
Mm-hmm.
little Chevy Love, and
I love
I can't even remember what years those things were. Like 73,
73,
2, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a little Chevy Love, and it was white, and I painted it. I said, "What color do you want?" He said, "I want it like the sky, you know, like a light blue." So that was my first car. That was the first car I ever painted for money. I was 14, and I painted it in my sister's garage. My sister was the first member of the household that had a house with a garage. It was crazy. So when I went to her house and saw the garage, I thought she was like,
It was good. It was
Big
good
time in it.
huh?
yeah, she was on this level up here, you know. But it was just a little old humble little house, and I asked her if I could borrow her garage. She said, "Yeah, man."
That's super cool.
And a little it was a 20-gallon, 2-horsepower Craftsman compressor.
So you had to spray and let it catch up, spray and let it catch up.
Boy.
Well, I had a hard time, man, but
Did you blow into it as well?
you know the only thing you think about in those days, or you know when you like to do something, is you just want to hustle. You know, I mean, you don't think about that compressor that didn't hold up. You know that you spray aside and then you have to kind of let it wait a little bit. And you just try to do what you wanted to do. You know.
Exactly.
And you know when you kind of start doing those things, you kind of really don't know any better. You know, you just kind of go with what you have or what you can afford.
And you're still learning too. I mean, you're still learning what
Well,
works.
yeah. I
you
mean,
know?
I was green behind the ears, but that's how I started, man. That's what before what got me into the car business was my brother-in-law. So my brother-in-law, he was a mechanic, but he had a friend that had a shop, and it was a paint and body shop. So my brother-in-law did the mechanic side, and he did the body work. And I used to go out there and hang out every day after school. And I was 9 years old then. I was still in elementary. The good thing was that, you know, their shop was right around the corner from our house. So when I got home, I'd just tell my mom, can I go down to Carlos' shop and hang out? You know, she would tell me what I was going to do, and I said, I'll go there and sweep the shop and stuff.
That's awesome.
And she let me go down the street. But he's the one that got me to do what I do today.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So it's definitely been in your blood since you was a youngster.
I was really young, you know, when I saw that and I was hanging around her shop, I knew what I wanted to do when I was 9 years old. Literally.
No, I wasn't that fortunate. What about you?
No, I wasn't that fortunate either. I would probably say, I mean, I was drawn to it by around.
Now, Joel, don't lie about what you did do, right?
By the age of, he always gives me crap about everything I do. You know? It's like, so I'd say by the age of 13, 14, I started noticing cars and started realizing, like, man, this is cool. You know, I'd like to get into something like this and do something, you know. And I guess the first thing I got into was really car audio. You know, I started playing around with my dad's truck, burning up his radios and stuff like that. And,
Same here.
And you know, you kind of just find a path, and I took it and ran with it. And then, like when I turned 18, I went to go work for Altamira, and man, it just took off from there. And one thing led to another. And it's almost like I couldn't get deep enough into a car to be satisfied. So like to me, I want to be able to one day be able to build a car from start to finish by myself. You know?
Exactly. Learn all the skills.
Sometimes it gets me in trouble.
I tell Joel that's an impossible task. You
like
will never
perfectionism.
ever be able to build a car completely by yourself. Never.
Yeah.
You're always going to have to have someone else's assistance.
And you're always, you got to kind of know like your limits and what your fortes are. All right, Shorty, so what you gonna do for us today, man?
Well, I don't think I'm gonna do anything physical.
Okay.
But I can tell you about it.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we got a couple of projects going on at the shop in the shop today. So one of all things is, like I was gonna tell you earlier, that we have a car in here that it's kind of a new car. You know, we're not used to that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I left that behind, you know, a few years ago, but we took on a new truck.
Okay.
It's not like a brand new one, but it's a 2016 High Country.
Okay.
And we're doing a wide body kit on it.
Awesome.
And I mean, the rendering on the truck looks awesome. So, you know, these guys are really nice guys that commissioned us to do it. It's exciting, but it's a challenge at the same time because of all these aftermarket parts that we have to put on this truck.
They don't always just bolt on. Yeah.
Well, no, not like they say.
Yeah.
Or they'll bolt on a Baja.
Yeah.
On a Baja truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just throw it on there.
Yeah.
And then they'll lose it a couple miles down the road.
Exactly. Shatter it. Yeah.
But so we got that going on. It's supposed to go to SEMA.
Okay.
So we're trying to, you know, we're going to eat our tacos and get back on it.
Get back to
here
work.
in a minute.
Cool.
So we got that today, and then I have we have another car that's going to SEMA, which is, you know, this car right here. This car right here, I'm excited because, you know, it's one that we did on the show, and it ended up being my car. As you can see, I got it on some stands here, so I'm just redoing a lot of the stuff for my own liking, you know, just stuff that you know, just like what everyone else does. That you know, you buy a car that's already done, but you know, guess what?
Make it your own. Yeah.
Make it your own. So I'm redoing a lot of the things on it. Joel's redoing some audio and wiring for me. Air ride. He's redoing some of that stuff for me. So I'm pretty excited to have this car at SEMA with one of our supporters, one of our
The vendor you use?
vendors we use. What do they call them?
Auburn Gear.
Yeah, Auburn Gear, but a sponsor.
A sponsor.
Sponsor is the word I was looking for. So Auburn Gear, they're great friends of ours. You know, they sponsor us and stuff, and great people as well. And it's going to be in their booth at SEMA.
Cool.
So if you can get out there, come to the Auburn Gear booth and check the 59 out. I call it a yonke.
A yonke.
So come check out the yonke.
That's a pretty cool yonke.
Yeah.
And you know, just this car was basically built I don't know, about 12 or so weeks maybe. I'm gonna say in 12 or so weeks, maybe 17 weeks. So I feel like it's a pretty good
Build for that time, yeah.
build restoration for the time. And as I was saying earlier about the build, you know, I like to say I restored them because the cars are already built. We're just you know redoing them. And then I have another. So that's another project that we have. And then I have a few little projects. The other one is for House of Color.
Okay.
So House of Color, I've been fortunate that for the past couple of years they choose several painters throughout the country, and so I've been, like I said, fortunate enough, honored. It's another word to be picked up, to be picked amongst some of the best artists in the world, and I'm scared because. You know, I'm not that great, so I'm kind of scared to do this thing because they're going to showcase it, and then they're going to auction it off for a good cost.
Oh, that's
so
great.
that's my favorite thing. So I have a couple of projects going on for that are going to be auctioned off for good causes. So I can show you a little bit about that.
Yeah, you can't show too much.
Yeah. But as far as the projects going on, is that truck. And the 59 that are most important, other than the panels that we're doing for the show at SEMA.
Cool.
For House of Color.
Well, I guess I'll clean up these tacos and.
Hey, by the way, they were good.
Yeah, thanks for the tacos, man.
No problem, brother. I appreciate
They
y'all
hit the
turning me
spot.
on to it.
I guess now we got to do our part.
Yeah, we gotta give him back in return whatever he came for, Joe.
I'm kind of tired now. Short dog, you see the size of this
I know. He made a mistake
Yeah,
by bringing the tacos and then the
Should've
seat
did it
first.
afterwards, yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to go hide and crawl in the car somewhere. Turn on the AC.
Man, let's do this.
All right, so this is another project that we have here in the shop. It's supposed to be a SEMA build, and so what we did is we put a wide body on this 2016 High Country Chevy, and so we in order to do that we had to take off the original quarters and put on fiberglass bedside. So you know, we had to bond everything to the original box.
Yeah. Speaking of bonding, you know, that's one of the key things you always want to make sure you check with your local reps as far as all your bonding agents. We use 3M here, so we called the rep out and he came out, and of course we got fiberglass, we got steel, we have, what was that?
Urethane plastic.
Yeah, like urethane plastic. So we got all this stuff going on, and then on top of that we got body work and, you know, paint and everything else going on top of it. So you got to make sure you use the proper bonding, or you're getting yourself in trouble real quick. So
Yeah, that's a must. You have to do your research, and you need to talk to whoever you have to talk to get the right stuff, because this could come back and bite you in the. And you know what? And you don't want that. You don't want that because you know, you're putting in a lot of work on this stuff, and so you don't want to come back and have to redo it. You know, we got a plastic roll pen, we got a fiberglass quarter. We got the original buckets, tail light buckets that we cut off the quarters and bonded them to the fiberglass quarter panel. So you have a lot going on here. It's a lot of work. And then obviously you see the truck. It's torn down to its bare bones. This is one of the fenders that's already bonded. So we took the fenders and supposedly they were supposed to be bolt-on. Well, there's no such a thing. So what I did is I took the fiberglass fender and modified it to where I could glue it on to the original fender. So that's what happened here. We bonded the fiberglass fender to the original.
and keep in mind too, you know, the reason why Shorty had to do all this work was because we're taking something that's really meant for like off-road sand and stuff like that and turning it into like a high quality showpiece, you know, paint job. So in order to do that, you have to make these adjustments to make it work. So
Yep. And then, so I have another couple of little projects that are going on here at the shop at the same time, also for SEMA. I have a big panel over here on this table that I got in from House of Color. I'm one of the few painters that was chosen by Sherwin-Williams, actually. You know, they own Valspar House of Color. And this panel, it's a clean canvas right now, but hopefully it won't be here in a few days. It's going to be auctioned off at SEMA at the Sherwin-Williams from the Sherwin Williams people for a good cause. So that's another little project that we got going on, and then obviously my 59 that I got Joel.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about that.
He's got a lot going on over there, and he'll explain to you what he's got going on with it. And
so one of the key things that you always, everybody's like, I get a lot of messages like people, man, like when you're wiring a car, what's some of the things you want to watch out for? What do you do? Like, how do you lay it out? Well, key thing is to always make you a list of everything you're going to have in the car. Electric fans, you're going to have, high put alternator, if you're going to change out your system from a point system to a HEI system. I mean, all these things, anything that runs off electrical, the easiest way to do it, maybe grab you a piece of paper, lay out all your stuff so you know exactly where you're going to take all your powers, your ignitions, and if you have to add relays, you'll know where to add them. So the key is to not have a cluster of wires bundled up everywhere. So as you can look in here,
you need to write a manual on this stuff, Joe.
A manual?
Yeah.
No, we'll explain it to him.
It's going to take you like 10 days to explain.
No, we're going to break it down in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
So one of the things that you want to look at when you look at this engine bay is you see no wiring, and that's what Shorty was kind of when he set out to build this car, he was really wanting something clean, kind of take it back to the original state in '59. Back then they didn't have all these high-powered alternators, all these cooling fans, and all that. So we tried to keep it to that original state by hiding some of the wiring, kind of just make it disappear wherever we installed it. So
the car's an old car, so we want to keep the old on it. We don't want to. It's not like a 150, 300,000 resto mod. We did this car on the show. It ended up being my car in the end. So I'm just making it my own. I'm just adding a few things that make it me. I'm redoing some things and then adding on some things. So Joel and I are trying to get it ready and just making it our own project. To take it up to SEMA.
So that's where we're at on that. Right now we're probably about a month
Joel,
away.
Don't forget to show them my tank, my air ride tank that you don't like.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. So speaking of that, when you're laying out a car, as far as wiring, paint, interior, stance, the whole nine, right? You're making a whole list of all this stuff. Well, this didn't land in my list, but it's here in the car. So it's one of the things that Shorty wanted to lay out, and
Probably not.
it's an air ride tank that he put a lowrider pattern on. That's one of the beauties of our relationships. We can always, he's going to do his thing and I'm going to do my thing to make it work, But that's definitely the short dog right there. Is a taste of lowriding, which I love lowriding. I just didn't see it in this car, but hey, he's got a different vision from mine, what I'm looking at. So, but at the end of the day, we're gonna pattern this out, put some nice enclosure back here, and enclose this trunk out really nice. Maybe I don't know how exactly which way to go with it just yet because somebody threw this lowrider pattern loop in on me, but we'll get it down. But let's get back to what I was talking about. So we're talking about the wiring and stuff. So here we have the compressors. So we're gonna have a battery station here, and what this is right here, all these wirings coming out right here is basically, in this particular car we had so much electrical stuff that we were having to add that I added a second battery, and that location is going to be here. So the second battery is going to take care of the audio, it's going to take care of the compressors, and that's pretty much it. That's its job. And the front battery will take care of the car, AC, and so forth. So I wanted to split it up just so the duty cycle is not real heavy on both or just one battery. It'll kind of be split up to where it can even out. So, but things like this is very important when you're laying out, because the last thing you want to do is lay something out and then have to go back and redo it. I mean, especially if you're paying somebody to do that, it can get costly. So, do your homework, lay it out on paper, look at all your options. If you don't know, it doesn't hurt to ask. People, there's tons and tons of people out there with lots of knowledge, and they're willing to give it up. You just got to ask for it. So that's where we're at on this one.
How are you guys doing today? As you can see, I have the bed in a epoxy, and so a lot of you are wondering why I have this tape on here. So the best thing to do to get nice and crisp body lines is to take some tape and put it on where you want your line to be, or where the line should be, and then you block that one area. The tape helps you stay away from the body line that you don't want to mess it up. In other words, this keeps you from messing up the body line. So what you do is you put it on, you block one area, like right now, for example, I'm blocking the top. Once the top is blocked, then you take the tape off, clean it up real good, and then you reverse it. You put the tape on the top, and then you block the one area, because you know this bedside, so it'll have 3 body lines up here. So it'll be flat, and then it'll be like an octagon shape, and then it'll come back down. So it's very important that you, this is just a little tip to help you creating nice and straight and crisp body lines. That's what it's intended to do. This will tell you really quick if you don't have straight body lines. So I hope you guys use this method and see if it works. Let me know. Alright, so we talked a little bit about the tape, you know, the purpose of the tape and stuff. So another good pointer here is that what you do when you block, and you can use any kind of block that you want, I mean, as long as it's nice and straight. There are many brands, you can even make your own as long as it's good. But another good point that I want to make is when you block, I'll give you an example. Like if you're blocking, you know, a long panel, so you got to make sure that you walk it. You know, don't just stand there and block on one area and then get that one area sanded and then go to the. You have to block. You have to go like this. You know, block the walk. You have to walk the length of the panel, because if you don't, you're really not doing much good. The other thing is that you need to switch sizes as well. You need to do it both directions. So you need to do it both directions, because that is also very important. One direction, the other direction. That way you get everything blocked. The block gets every square inch and does its job. All right, so we got that out of the way. So the other thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blow it off real good. I have the top blocked off really nice. I'm gonna blow it off really good, and I'm gonna reverse the tape to show you what I was talking about earlier. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we talked about what the purpose of the tape was. Well, let me show you. See, I got this this top section blocked really nice. Love the way it looks. And right now we're only on our second stage of prime, so on our first stage rather of epoxy. So you know, remember, we're going to prime this again. I'm going to take the tape off. And you're going to see a really nice crisp line if you look at it. See how crisp it looks? Really nice and straight. Alright. What I was talking about, when you flip it, so the part that you've already blocked, that's where you're going to put your tape. And believe me, this will save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches. It's a little bit of time consuming, but in the end, you'll be doing work that's well appreciated by people. And I learned these tricks, you know, I don't know where these tricks came from, but I learned these from other, you know, from people, from being in the industry. I'm not ashamed to tell you that you know, I didn't invent these methods of doing good work. You know, I have some really good friends that do world-renowned, awesome work. I learned these tricks from these guys, and so I've seen their work. I mean, these guys do some incredible work, and I want to do the same. So. You know, we all learn from each other. You know, everybody has something to teach someone else, and so you see how it's been reversed. But let me show you another little trick. So in this case, we have 2 body lines. We have the one to deal with that we just finished, and then we have the other one that's in between. So I remember I told you it was like an octagon. It goes like this and like that and then like that. So we need another tape line because we're going to block only this one little area. This quarter panel has two body lines. So you see what I'm talking about? So don't be afraid to pull this tape out back and make sure you put it where you want it, or where it needs to be rather, because like I said, this is going to be your work, and in the end you want people to appreciate it, and believe me, it's worth taking the time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to block in between. We're going to block in between these two lines, just like that. Okay, and even though it's very little or small, even though a very small area, you can already see it taking shape. Okay, once you get through doing that, you run the same procedure through every body line. That's the only way you're going to get nice and crisp and perfectly straight body lines. So try that, see how it works for you, and let me know.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Taco Time. I want to thank Shorty. Thank Joel. Thank Joel.
You gotta take like an asset, man.
Yeah. I'm learning, man. I'm a cholo in training.
Yeah, man. You come up to the hood, you gotta be like a vato, man.
How you do that?
Oh man, it's just like normal.
Just like normal?
Yeah, just like normal dude.
You get the stage. You see how it just came out?
Yeah.
It's like one of those little monitos. What do you call them? The
little
homies.
The little homies,
The little homies. You see how they're standing?
Yeah. They got that 1 foot.
There you go. They got the 1 foot.
You got it down.
Yeah. You're going fast, man.
And then Heath don't play around. He
Yeah.
runs fast.
I'm gonna mix up some paint him brown, dude.
But no, man, it was a good time, man. I wish we had a little more time to get into a little more detail, but you know,
I think we're good, man. I think I appreciate you guys, showing us a little bit of secrets, kind of giving people tips, man. That's what we do this for. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man.
Help out everybody. Now, hopefully, down the road we'll come back and do a little more with you guys.
Definitely, man.
Awesome, man. We got to get.
Man.
Appreciate you once again.
Appreciate you, brother. Come bringing Taco Time to the Midlothian.
Yeah.
Over here, Midlothian in the woods.
Man, that was some of the best tacos I had in a while too, man. Ain't no joke. Yeah. Ain't no joke.
Cool.
That's what we have around here. So
The good stuff.
good stuff. Authentic good stuff, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Authentic people, authentic tacos.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Let's get it.
Appreciate it, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy, brother.